Training to become a Jedi is not an easy challenge. And even if you succeed, it's a hard life.
But I want to go. It's what I've always dreamed of doing.
Day 64, I'm Cole, recording my journey of becoming a pro soccer player, bootstrapping a business, and becoming a better version of myself. Today was a rest day, so there was no workouts or training, but there was a lot of work on the YouTube channel to make it look more professional and better. And then here's what I learned today. Starting off, I had a call with a friend who I honestly have only met in person 2 times, but we caught up. He's back at USC, and it's very interesting to talk to other people who are extremely locked in and extremely diligent on doing their work and pushing themselves forward. This person's name is Henry. He is studying to be an AI researcher. I don't know if he's officially one yet because he's still an undergraduate, but he's planning on doing his PhD in AI, specifically for robotics. And it's very interesting talking to people who are very locked in what they want to do and know that they want to become something like great or interesting, or they're just very interested in what they're doing. I find people who are really into research really like doing that type of thing. This goes into show you that the people that you surround yourself with and the people that you talk to on a daily basis are going to change how you think about yourself and how you think about the work you want to do. When I was talking to Henry, I was listening to him about the things that he's done over the past year, and then also specifically in the past few months since I've left USC and we haven't talked. And I want to be able to say that I've made progress in something since I last see someone. And it feels kind of embarrassing because, one, I just didn't really know what to say. Even though I have done some stuff, I do have to be admit soccer hadn't gone very well for me, adjusting to Madrid, and that I changed from my original thing of quant into going into a calendar app, but I don't really have anything to show for it. And that just goes to show that I need to do better in having other people who are kind of on top of their shit and doing the work day in, day out, especially if it's very hard work, which is in his case because he's doing a novel field and he's trying to discover how to simulate a robot picking something up. That's not an easy thing to do. I've seen his work, I've seen his math equations. It's multiple sheets of page-long equations, back to back. I want to accomplish something in my life. That means I have to make progress. Having those other people around you as a benchmark to say oh, I did do something today and I know because I can confidently tell him that I've made progress in this area. I have to do a better job of locking in and just doing the work. I would say the rest of the day I was completely locked in. I will say the rest of the day I was completely locked in doing the work basically from when I woke up until when I rested. I did have a few calls with people where I did take some breaks in between, but the rest of the day when I was alone, I wasn't on Instagram, I wasn't on YouTube, I wasn't on anything that was distracting to me. I was doing my work and making progress done. Now onto the topic of the video. I spent the entire day focusing on making the YouTube channel better. Started off with just putting my information into ChatGPT. I took screenshots of my different analytics of my channel page, of my videos, and I was trying to discover why my videos aren't doing well and how I can improve in the future. Something I didn't realize that was happening is that when I'm posting my videos, they're posting with black bars on the side, and it's not very appealing to someone who's going to watch a video. So that was an easy fix. All I had to do was fix the cropping in iMovie from fit to crop so that it will upload in the right aspect ratio. It does change the way the video looks a little bit, but I think it completely changes the quality of the experience. People want to see the entire screen. They don't want to see the black bars on the side. That was the first thing that I took care of. And then the rest of it was really just creating systems for the YouTube channel for things that I could replicate on a day-to-day basis. What I started out with, what I'm gonna do is actually go over my screen right now. So I have them in the background so I can talk about it. The first thing that I created was a banner for my YouTube channel. I didn't really have anything, and I decided that if I'm gonna be professional, I have to do professional things. That involved creating a banner, that involved making my logo a little bit more professional and kind of matching to my banner. So the banner is very basic. I used ChatGPT to give me a suggestion of how I should format it. This is what it came up with based on my information, what I'm trying to do, and what I'm posting about. So it's just a basic 0 to everything, which is kind of what I am building from and then trying to build towards. I have a bunch of different pursuits, so I can't really say building to zero to one thing. So I just kind of generalized it. And then I have the daily vlogs, pro football grind, and startup build. The daily vlogs, I mean, that's obviously what I'm doing. The football grind and then the startup build, those are my two main goals. I do have the goal of becoming like a better person, but I don't think it was as useful as putting in daily vlogs just to show you like what this YouTube channel is about. And then moving on, just a really basic change, but this is my logo. The only really change is that I added a circle around my profile picture so that it matches the color scheme of my background. And I used ChatGPT. I said I wanted a dark purple because one, I just like the color purple. And then also my roommate last year said he thinks of me as a color dark purple. And I was like, that's sick. So I'm gonna fucking take it and run. But just trying to match. Moving on, the next thing I had is a green screen. So this is for when I'm editing a video. In the first 5 seconds, I'm gonna try to have a clip of me working or a clip of me in like a scenic area. And then 3 seconds into the video, the clip is gonna be about 5 seconds long. And then 3 seconds into that 5-second clip, I'm gonna put up this green screen with the day and then the 0 to everything, just to kind of have an intro so it boosts user retention and doesn't fuck my like average watch time and stuff. And then YouTube will recommend me to more people. I don't really have an intro. I don't want to do anything too fancy because one, I don't really know what works. And then I'm just really kind of trying this, honestly. If it doesn't work, I'll try something else, but I think that it's basic enough to where I can implement it every single day, but also makes the video look a little bit nicer. I might change the format of where the lettering is so that it doesn't go over the picture, but I'm gonna try it out. And then in the future, if I find that my YouTube videos still aren't doing well, I'll try to change something else. Next, this is the thumbnail. So what I was doing previously was just taking the auto-generated thumbnails from YouTube and then placing them and then making them my thumbnails. And that was bad for two reasons. One, the bars weren't right, so that it was black bars on the side. And then two, it doesn't look very professional. I have an example on the bottom or when I scroll down, and I think I'm just gonna do pictures so you can't see my like recording screen, but I'm gonna show you the example from yesterday's video of my first YouTube thumbnail professionally done. So the important things to note is that I have 3 words in the top left corner that kind of summarize what is the major point I wanted to get across in the day. I have like a scenic shot. Eventually, when I am doing this a little bit more, I want this to be more of me in either a scenic location or me doing work. And then in the bottom right corner, I have the day. So like people can see like what my progress is. I talked a lot with ChatGPT and it gave me suggestions on how I can improve my thumbnails, and this is what it suggested. This was one of the possible suggestions that I liked and thought I can implement. Next, I have the outro screen. I was kind of taken for granted the fact that people just knew what my numbers were and what I was doing in the day. So I decided to create an outro screen. The pictures that you're gonna see, all the way on the left, they're framed, so I can just input the picture to it. It's gonna be my calendar for the day. So this means I have to keep track of my calendar. You're gonna see it at the end of today's video. I use Google Calendar and I'm gonna use it until I have my own calendar to do this. Then I have my soccer drills to show you what my progress was on the day, my fitness to show you what my gym workout was for today, business for what I accomplished in Amplify that day, and then accomplishments, anything that I did unrelated to the business. So that could be, for example, today, updating the YouTube channel to make it look more professional. For business, I would say that I watched the Google for Startups Agentic School live video for today. I want to have this screen so I can share you what I'm actually doing in a day, and then also have my numbers so that you can see like what my progress is. And then if you really want to check it out, you'll be able to see how I'm progressing over a course of time. And then finally, I just have the end screen. It's the same gradient as the screen before, just copy and pasted. The point of this gradient is for me to have a outro screen to where I'll have the card of the most recent YouTube video and then also my channel. I just think it looks a little bit more professional if I have that, and it looks a little bit better. I want to have it when it's not over the video, like the numbers video, because then if someone wants to pause and look at it, or they just want to watch the video for that, they're not going to be able to see it. And I used to watch these basketball highlights, and at the last like 10 seconds, it would show the card and all the comments were just like stop showing the card so early. I can't see the rest of the game, when it was like the final seconds of the game, and it made like an extreme difference. So that's kind of like what I've done in Canva. Moving on to the systematizing things, I wrote down a lot on title, creating a YouTube description, making a thumbnail, making the scorecard at the end of the day, and then the editing flow of what I'm gonna do. And then also I have a little snippet about me, like what I'm gonna say in the beginning of my video. I'm going to put up pictures of my Apple Notes of my guide for me to make a video. So starting out, I have the video title, I have an outline, and then I also have a ChatGPT prompt, which I'm going to use to fill out. You can see the only things I really have to fill out are the day, which is the number, and then the quick list of things that I did, and then the talking points. In the talking points, I'm also going to include the time stamps, because then that makes it easier for me to make the description later. I asked for 10 different choices that I can use in the title. I want them to be like concise, but also still get the message across, like what I'm trying to do. I don't really enjoy making video titles that much. I don't really enjoy making descriptions that much, nor the thumbnails. So I decided that I was gonna make it as easy as possible for me. And I think it's a little bit more professional to have a standard / way of doing a process of doing certain things. And I think this is gonna what I'm gonna do when I'm creating my business. I'm gonna create standards, I'm gonna create systems for me to continue to do the work. You've probably heard people say, create systems, not goals, and this is me doing that. So moving on, I choose one of the choices from the video, and then I move on to the description. I have the outline with an example, and then I also have the prompt, which I put in the ChatGPT. Some of this is repeated in terms of the day number, the key activities, and the talking points. So I'm not sure if I should fix that completely, or I should just leave it as it is, because it's not really that important. I just copy and paste it from the previous query to ChatGPT into the new one. And then that will give me an updated description of how I want my day. Biggest things that I've changed is that I put the title in the first line, and then the second line is just a 1 to 2 sentence recap that I get from the prompt from ChatGPT based on what I did that day. According to ChatGPT, using like this strategy makes YouTube better recommend your videos to people. And then moving on, next I have the chapter cards. So I have the timestamp. I create these timestamps manually of what I'm gonna be doing in a certain day. So typically it will be a montage, and then it might be like introduction, montage, into the different talking points that I have. You can see yesterday's video, or just go like click on the video to see the different chapter cards for today. I'm gonna have different talking points and as the different chapter cards, as well as the intro and montage and the outro / ending card. Then I kind of just modified how I have my 3 goals, which is football, startup, and self-mastery. And then I have this little snippet at the end that's subscribe and trade notes on your journey. If you think you have anything you want to share with me, or just want to talk to me, like I'm at the stage where I don't really have anyone talking to me. I'm completely open to like conversing with anyone. And then I have a link under that. I have a link to yesterday's video. Then I have 3 hashtags that were recommended by ChatGPT that are going to be in all my videos. The 3-word example in the top left corner, I'm probably going to say this now so I can remind myself to put that picture of the example thumbnail on screen so they can see what I'm talking about. But here's the ChatGPT prompt that I'm using so that you can do the same thing if you want to. Again, repeats some of the information from previous queries, so it makes it a lot easier to be able to do that. Moving on, here's the scorecard. I have different prompts starting out for different tables. So the way I do my scorecard, I'll show you an example of my Excel document, and then which is how I record my juggling on my own. And then I take the prompt that's on screen now, I insert the table at the little insert table here, and then that will format the table in like concise fashion. And then going back to my scorecard, which I'll show on screen now, there's a little frame for me to put my juggling stats for the day. I just create it in like a nice format so it's easier to read for the user. Moving on to something very similar for my gym session, but it's a little bit more tedious for me to put my input information because it is via an app. It doesn't have as simple as a documentation style as my Excel document. So it will require a little bit more work on my side. But again, it's just a ChatGPT prompt to make a table of the workouts that I did that day. Moving on, something I do want to say is that since I am building out my Amplify app, I do plan on having a lot of these features, especially the scorecard is something that I might code myself to where I can just output it every day, to where it had my calendar of what I did for the day, and then maybe it will have 4 different blocks of things that you accomplished, whether via your workouts. That's something I'm still gonna have to discover how I want to do it, but I might just tailor it for me, or I might just make it customizable to where someone could put in a block and then they're different things. Eventually, this is long term, but you would have recorded all your workouts, you would recorded all your sessions in the app. Then the app at the end of the day, input the information that you put into your workouts into the scorecard, and then you could just kind of see that. That could just be useful for people who do want to see like how they did for the day and what they accomplished. And then it's gonna be really mainly useful for me so I can automatically put it into the video. It may be something a little bit too complicated to where I might not do it, but that's just for future use. Here's my video introduction. I used to have one that was a little bit different, but I changed it just to make it a little bit more concise and then make it more aligned to add more value to the users. So instead of just going through my day kind of randomly, I decided that I'm gonna have like 1 sentence recap of what I did. I don't have a ChatGPT prompt. That's just something I'm gonna have to create on my own without ChatGPT, because I'm just gonna talk about what I did for the day before I do the rest of the video, so I don't know what I'm really talking about. But it's just a short 1 or 2 sentence recap of what I did, just so I can have you a little understanding of like what I did today. And then I want to get straight into what I learned so that I can teach y'all as much as possible and not waste your time. Following that, I have my editing flow. So this is the system that I set up for me to edit a video. I try to make it as in-depth as possible so that if I am not making these videos, then someone else can do the exact same thing. I really like autistic level details just so that there is no like ambiguity on what I really think. Try to make it as detailed as possible. It's not exactly perfect on the amount of time that certain things are gonna take, but I think it's really helpful for me to have this so that I don't forget anything. Trying to be a more professional channel, there's a lot more that goes into it in terms of the title, description, and then also the ending card, making sure I have my scorecard as well as the ending card so that I have my channel click and then also a video that is recommended to you. That's all I have with the templates. I hope that you got some value from this. I'm not exactly sure if this is gonna make my YouTube channel better, but this is just what I'm doing based on my analytics to ChatGPT and then also inputting pictures and what I kind of do for my YouTube currently. And then we'll see how this goes in the future. Maybe this will be a good tutorial video on how you can make better YouTube videos, but I hope you got some value from this. Thank you for watching. Here's my scorecard for the day. So this is recorded the next day, but I just want to go over like what I did and what I accomplished and got done. So you can see a lot of work was done on the YouTube channel throughout the entire day. And then I did get a little bit of work in the business, learning about agentic experiences, and then I finished my day with finishing tracking my expenses.
Jedi is not an easy challenge, and even if you succeed, it's a hard life.